Hey everybody, Heather here. This is my reaction to the new episode of Steven Universe, episode 74, The Answer. And I'm just gonna cut to the chase. The episode was a little quick. It was a little rushed. There was a lot of stuff in there that wasn't completely explained. I mean, there was some good stuff that was actually good to hear and some not to hear. But it wasn't really much like any of the other episodes. So in the episode we find out about Garnet's past, how Ruby and Sapphire met, how Garnet became Garnet. We learn a little bit about Homeworld and their ideals and laws and stuff like that. So it turns out that we find out that the Sapphire is actually a very rare aristocrat gem on Blue Diamond's court. Apparently she's really rare because she's either the only Sapphire to have future vision or she's the only Sapphire left. And it was it turns out that gems on the Diamond Court actually have to have guards whenever they go anywhere. So it turns out that our Ruby, was actually a set of a set of three rubies that were set to guard Sapphire while she went to go meet with Blue Diamond, because they were on Earth. So there was a good chance that they may have been attacked, that the rebellion will show up. So they wanted Sapphire to be safe because her future vision could really help Blue Diamond actually have a little insider of stuff before it happens. That way she can prepare for it. So Sapphire goes up to her and Blue Diamond asks Sapphire what's going to happen today. Sapphire tells her that a small team of the rebellion will come and destroy the physical forms of 7 gems there, including 2 of her ruby guards and herself. So Sapphire knew she was going to die. She knew she was going to be destroyed soon. And we also see a pearl with the diamonds. So the theory of the diamonds each having a pearl is kind of true. It's cuz I mean, our pearl was probably assigned to Rose when she was Pink Diamond. But since Pink Diamond didn't really stand for what the other diamonds were trying to do, her pearl left, and turns out that she trained her pearl to fight, to have her own feelings, to be her own gem, and all this other stuff. And it's like Blue Diamond was actually really big, and I know gems can alter their sizes, so there's a good chance that Blue Diamond wasn't really that big. She just made herself that big to get really intimidating. And so the Ruby Guards, when the rebellion actually attacked, the 3 rubies, they fused into just one big ruby, and 2 of the rubies actually got destroyed by Pearl, and Pearl was going to destroy Sapphire until Ruby saved her. Ruby is what you call a time anomaly. She altered the timeline than what Sapphire had in mind when she saw. Sapphire saw herself dying, but Ruby changed that by saving her. Sapphire could have saw it coming, but since the save was so sudden, she couldn't really focus on it. So it wasn't really much she could do at the time. So when Ruby saved her, they ended up fusing into Garnet, but it wasn't the Garnet we know now. It was actually a cotton candy colored Garnet. And the reason she was probably cotton candy colored like that is because since the fusion was so sudden, they couldn't actually prepare and think about how they were going to make their fusion. They didn't even know they could fuse. Like, apparently fusion between different gems is it kind of, it's never been heard of, and it's I think it may be kind of like forbidden for other gems to fuse into something, different gems anyway. So Pearl and them left. Blue Diamonds was gonna punish Sapphire, but Ruby jumped in the way. So Blue Diamond sentenced Ruby to be destroyed for fusing with someone on her court. But Sapphire saved her. They jumped to Earth and they had a little montage moment. I mean, they got to share their feelings and how they felt about each other, and they had their own little song. Now, the song was okay. I really didn't like the words that went to it because it kind of just felt like Ruby and Sapphire were singing their lines. Instead of talking, they were singing it. They were having a conversation, but it was in song. And the beat was stronger than you, but it didn't really match to what they were saying. But the part I did like about the song was the humming part, when Ruby and Sapphire were actually humming Stronger Than You together, and they fused again. And then when they fused again, when they fused, Garnet actually started getting her own consciousness. Like, even though she's sharing two different mindsets, she actually has her own consciousness. So she can think for herself, and she can control her own body and all of this other stuff. And she ends up she ends up seeing Pearl in them again. And even though Ruby and Sapphire still think that they aren't supposed to fuse. And that tells you right there that when Garnet saw Rose, she was like quick to unfuse. There was also a good hint there that Rose may have been a higher up as well, maybe a diamond. And